Traveling with the queen of rock and roll. The COVID hit, now we're stuck at home. Instead of sitting on our ass, we came up with this sick podcast. Crewicide, Crewicide. Out of my way, you're in my line. Crewicide, Crewicide. The main four pitch that sticks all night. Crewicide, Crewicide. Ha 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 ha. Crewicide, Crewicide. No autographs tonight. Can I get a set list, man? Hey, set list, please.
3, 2, 1. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Crewicide live podcast. We are so excited because we have a super guest. With me, as always, your co-host and host extraordinary, Miss Annie Stoic, and our special guest today, I don't even know what to say it, the legendary Warren Lee. Tech extraordinaire, super tech, just absolute legend. Welcome, Warren. Thanks for doing this, brother.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me. I'm only a legend to some people, I think, right? So.
I don't know. I mean, what people will now, like, the whole thing about this podcast is like, it's fucking, all right, what the hell does Joan Jett have to do with, Slayer and some of the hardcore bands that you've worked for, which we will get into in a minute. But guess what, people? Joan did a gig with Slayer.
I mean, it's rock and roll. What the fuck? Who doesn't like Joan Jett? What the fuck? Like, you know?
Actually, I think I remember Tom, if I'm not mistaken, Tom's wife and daughter came to several Joan shows when I was.
I'm positive those guys as musicians respect her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're cool, man.
You know, how can you not, right? You know what I mean? So.
So let's do a little background information for those of you guys who don't know Warren or what he has done or who he's been with. He is a guitar tech of the highest standard. I mean, we can just go off some of the names. Who are some of your main clients, Warren?
All right, so I worked for Slayer for about 16 years. I've been on and off with Rancid for the last maybe almost 10 years, 8 years maybe. I started out with 2012 with those guys. Man, I worked for Hatebreed for a couple of years, 3 years, long time. Madball, Biohazard, H2O.
Oh, you know Bobby. Do you know Bobby Hamble? I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure you go way back.
I was actually I worked for the band when he wasn't in the band.
Right.
But I mean, I knew him from going to shows, right? Back, in New York, just from being in New York, right? So
I mean, he's a legend. I'd like to have him come on at some point. Me and he actually lived in my studio at one point. We were very close, very close.
He's a good dude, man.
He's very good, close friend
very
of
too.
Oh, he's insanely talented.
Yes. Playing solos, spinning around in circles with a Les Paul, right? So
nobody can play like Bobby Hamble.
Yeah, that's Bobby Hamble. So
basically, you've been around. I mean, working for Rancid. Oh my God, I didn't even know that.
I think that's the last time I saw you was in one of the last Rancid shows I saw was in Austin, Texas, and I think you were there.
Oh, at the that Grand Prix, the racing track or whatever.
It was like a really brand new kind of outdoor amphitheater thing.
360 thing or something. Yeah.
Yes, that's what it was.
It was with who's that show with? I can't even remember.
It was with it was such a great. It was like Bad Religion, Pennywise,
yes.
Interrupters.
Right? Yeah.
I've been on such a Bad Religion kick lately.
Oh yeah. It was
I love
it was like great lineups, and it was Joan's last show of the tour was in San Antonio. We'll let beef choke quick.
That's all right.
That's a rarity sometimes.
To get off, right?
Yeah. I know someone that says that too.
Yeah. But yeah, it was like the last day of our tour, and I never, you never get to go to shows after tours.
Yeah,
and I was like, you know what?
That works out, right?
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to stay in extra.
Off and there happens to be another tour, going to a show that night, right? So I've seen it. I went to a Def Leppard show on a day off, one time, right? So it was awesome.
They're great.
I actually I went to a Slayer show on a day off too.
Yeah, there you go. That's
in
great.
Portland with Billy Crater, and our crew came out to one.
I think the story was told of. So Warren, our sound guy's 1 million years old. We call him Fart Dust.
Torosaurus.
Yeah, I mean,
Billy Crater,
basically,
a long
he's
time.
been with he was TSO Paul O'Neill, right? Those guys, the Trans-Siberian Orchestra crew guys, or just
Sort
the
of.
organ. But basically, he started with them before they were TSO. It was Paul O'Neill in the '80s. He's been with them forever, and he's been with Jones since '86. But I mean, he's just a dinosaur. In fact, I'm sitting next to his 1970 board from the clubs that he let me have
Man, that's
hold
fucking
on to.
awesome.
He's never getting it back.
He's
But
probably got fucking stories for days, man.
oh, the funny thing is, we keep trying to get him on, and he goes, I can't. My wife and kid are all around,
Yeah,
but they're always around.
Dude, he's got to like write a book or something.
But I
Oh,
think
yeah.
the story. What was the story? He went to the Slayer show, and he just
Yeah,
went.
we went to go see Slayer with Rob Zombie, and he
Okay.
literally got physically blown away by Slayer's like the speakers.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fucking loud show, right?
Oh
You know what I
yeah,
mean? So,
yeah, it was great.
Just
And you know what
alone, what's coming off the stage alone is ridiculous. And once you put it through the fucking PA, and you know, it's fucking loud, right? So
Oh yeah.
I don't
It
think
was great.
anybody realizes that the sheer like power that you said that's coming from the stage alone.
yeah, I mean, look, Slayer's got we're running 6 live cabinets per side, guitar cabinets, as well as 2 bass cabinets. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So that's fucking loud, dude.
It's loud,
It's
regardless of what's going through the main house. Yeah. Wonder what their lighting rig is like.
Shut off the PA and just would listen to whatever's coming off the stage with the monitors, it'd be loud. You know what I mean? Obviously, it wouldn't be loud enough to fill an arena, but it's loud. You know, you would hear it, right? So
I think
what we hear on stage is different than what you're hearing out in the crowd. People forget that. Like, you know, we have our own mix on stage.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, it blends with you know what's coming out of the PA, obviously, right? But the sound guy's got to blend it. But I mean, you know, what we have going on stage has nothing to do with what is being heard out there. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like we have a different mix. You know what I mean? So.
Oh
Yeah, it's true. You're not here. We're hearing the cream of the crop.
Yeah, you hear everything. We hear certain things on certain parts of the stage. You know what I mean, right? So, and everyone's on ears too, or not everyone, but like the whole backline crew is on ears. Right?
That's what I mean. I think I think that's probably best at this point. I remember doing that with Aerosmith. Everybody was on ears. I started seeing that. I mean, because that was 07.
I could even towards the end. There's no way. I've done shows like where, you know, we didn't have ears that show, whatever, on like festival shows or something, whatever reason. And I've done like maybe 1 or 2 without ears, and it's like, yeah, no, dude, give me the ears. I need the ears. You want the show done the best? You want my job done the best? I like the ears. It's cheating. You know what I mean? To me, it's like it's the extra, like, you know, because you don't, you know what I mean? It's like without that, it's like I can't hear everything that he's doing. You know what I mean?
I remember also doing when the ears would come into effect. Tommy, the drummer Tommy Price, I was working for years, who was Billy Idol's guy in the 80s. So Annie, prior to you being in the band, it was a small PA system surrounding Tommy Price up until my first year with them in 05. And I think he had just started using ears. And Billy was telling me stories about it. It was a small PA system just for the fucking drummer. And I got to end up, you know, really locking into what he did. And I think I became fucking deaf because of his 2K and the kick, like pop, 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 pop. You know, he's got no top end.
Yeah,
he's got no top end. So everything's 2K, you know? It's like, oh. I remember calling it, and the sound guy was like, "Are you fucking serious?" I'm like, "Yes." Oh my god. Wow, my phone's going off. I'm gonna shut it off. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
These fuckers are texting me. So let's talk about, if you would. You came out of the New York hardcore scene.
Yep, that's basically where I started. I played.
And you were in bands. You were in bands.
I went to shows. I played in hardcore bands. I toured as a musician. You know what I mean? I toured Europe, Japan, West Coast, majority of the Northeast. right? We played everywhere, man. We would drive to fucking Virginia and play shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We drove to fucking everywhere, right? We drove to Cleveland one time and played a show. Right? Dude, we played a show in Cleveland in a bar, which they wouldn't even let me in the bar because I wasn't 21.
Oh my God!
Backstage, I had to sit in the truck. We rented like a U-Haul truck, right? So,
until it was time to play.
Yeah, and I had to sit in the back of the truck. I mean, the rest of the band was cool. They were like, fuck this place, man. They sat in the truck with me, right? Instead of hanging out in the club. So we just hung out in the truck, and we went in. We did the show. We left, right? So, but yeah, I wasn't old enough. Even the guy was like, I'm like, dude, but, you know, like, all right. And he wouldn't let me in. I was 20 years old, right? I was 19 or 20. And, you know, and they wouldn't let me in. So.
That's
I was
crazy.
the youngest guy in the band, too, at the time, right? So.
Also, did you not, am I mistaken, and this will all come around back to Warped Tour of 06 and as we swing around, were you in a band with one Mr. Legend, the hardcore legend himself, Danny Diablo?
No, I was not.
You were not?
No, yeah, that was never me. I never played in any bands with Ezak.
All right.
So I wish.
Then you know what it is like when I was younger, there's the bands mixed together. There were so many. I started working at CBGB's in 99. So for me, it was Molotov Cocktail, Distraught, Os Rotten. Who else was the SFA was Brendan's band. Remember the door guy?
Brandon ran the door.
Brendan Rafferty. Yeah, he ran the door. He booked our band for a hardcore gig with fucking Raw Power and like the Truants or somebody.
Shout out to Brandon because I've.
Oh yeah, dude, I haven't seen Brendan in years.
I've never paid for a show at CB's thanks to him. He would just let me in every time. Thank God.
I mean,
thank you, Brandon.
Brendan Raff. Yeah, shout out to the CB's crews and Josh Lozado.
I would just show up and like I would go to the front and look at him, and he would just be like, he would just look at me. Like,
come here, because he knew you were part of the fucking family.
Well, he was, you know, he knew I was, you know, I went to shows, right? So I was one of the, like, you know, the regulars or whatever you want to call it, you know. So
I remember going to go see Super Joint Ritual even afterwards, and I paid for a ticket. And I get up there, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing here? Why'd you pay for a ticket, dude?" And I'm like, "Because I wasn't going to ask you." He's like, "Why?" But yeah, he's a really cool dude. I started working at band. I started seeing all these different bands, Madball, you know, H2O, Murphy's Law.
I seen SFA play at the fucking Bond Street Cafe in like, goddamn, it was like 93, 94 or something.
Oh, like I have that album, The Numerality, on when they did the reissue. It's such a good. I Want to Be Alone. I'll never forget that song. I want to be alone. Just get the fuck away from me. It says it all. A great band.
Yeah, shout out to Brandon. So
yeah, man. But I thought I was mistaken. I thought you played with Danny Diablo, who is a character in his own right. And we actually toured together on when he was doing the Danny Diablo solo, and he was on tour with Joan. That was so funny. That's when I first met him, and I haven't seen him since, but we keep in touch every now and then. Yeah. And but he's a
Queens guy. He don't live in Queens anymore, I don't think. But
no, he is Queens guy. I don't know where he is.
Did you grow up in Queens?
Yes, born and raised in Queens.
Me and I'm from Staten Island. So
okay.
What part of Queens?
Middle Village. I grew up in Middle Village in Forest Hills.
Shit, did you go to Forest Hills High School?
Yeah.
So did I.
Yeah. I never graduated. But...
Neither did I. I had to go to City as school. They kicked my ass. I started in aviation. Then I went to Forest Hills for 3 years. And then I did another extra year or so at City as school in Long Island City.
Yeah, I left high school when I was like 15, dude. So
wow. I went in 95.
Yeah, I left school, then I worked for like 3 years, then I went back to school. And you know, and then in that time I was playing in bands, and that's how what happened was I started touring, working for bands. I started like with H2O, you know, whoever it was.
Right.
And, it was mostly Madball and VOD, right? That's who I started out with.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went back to college, and what happened was, I would take semesters off and do tours to make money, right? Because it was fucking horrible. You know, I was broke during the semester. Right?
Yeah.
Because working part-time, going to school, it sucked, right? So I would take a semester off, go to work, make some money, you know, do a semester, do shit like that. And what happened was I got a gig in the summer. It was Ozfest. I was working for a band called Apex Theory.
I remember
it was supposed
them.
to be, it was a summer gig. I took the gig. I was like, great. I'll be home in September. I'll go back to college. It'll be great. I'll be gone all summer, make some money. It'll be fine. And Hatebreed ended up being on that Ozfest. And,
That's right.
I fucking known those guys for fucking ever, right? So, and we just linked up. They needed somebody, and next, that summer turned into, like I was supposed to be home September. I didn't come home till fucking December. And then I came home for Christmas and ended up leaving again. I was gone for like 7 months. You know what I mean? So I missed 2 semesters, and at that point it was kind of like, all right. And it was right when Hatebreed was like they were blowing up, doing their thing.
Oh, they were so big.
Just kept going. So next and then 3 years later, I was like, yo, what just happened? Like, all right, I guess I'm doing this, right? So
did you do that? Were you with Hatebreed when they did the Tattoo the Earth at Giant Stadium with Metallica?
No, I started with them in.
Well, that was later.
Man, fucking what year was that? I can't even remember. Like 2000 maybe 2001.
Wow.
Oh, no, I started with them in 2002.
So that was a little after, but they were so fucking
It was
big.
right after. It was right. It was right after Boulder had passed away. Rest in peace, right? And then it would, and then I started work for them maybe like, I don't know, man, 6 months after that or something like that, a couple months after that, right? So that's when I started with them, and it was right when, and then Jamie got the Headbangers Ball thing, and it just next, we were doing bars, right? Next thing we're on tour with Slayer. It was crazy, I was like, whoa, what the fuck?
And a lot of people don't realize that Hatebreed actually was like part of the underground scene so many years before they became,
Dude,
especially our audience won't know that. You know what I mean?
If you were a hardcore kid in the 90s and you played Connecticut, Jamie probably booked the show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, my first tour in the U.S. was with Hatebreed. It was 25 to Life, which is the band I played in, and Hatebreed. And
you were in 25 to Life?
Yeah, and a band called Voorhees, right? So, you know what I mean? That was our first tour. We ended up only doing like, I don't know, 5 out of the fucking 10 shows that were booked or whatever it was. But I remember so that was my first tour. So that's how I've known those guys, right? So when I ran into them on Ozfest, we need somebody. It was obvious. They were just like, okay, well, just come work for us, So when that tour ended, I just jumped on their bus and kept going with them, right? So, and like I said, it was 3 years later. It was like, yo, what just happened,
Wow.
And then I went and worked for Hazen Street.
Hazen Street was the off street of H2O.
It was kind of like it was
or Madball, right? Yeah, it was a hardcore supergroup.
Call it. It was members of Madball, H2O, Boxcar Racer, and Cro-Mags, right?
Yes.
What I mean? Mackie from Cro-Mags, Talia Freddie from Madball, Toby from H2O, Chad from Newfound Glory, and then Dave from Boxcar Racer. Right, so it was kind of like a super group, right? So
and Mackie.
Yeah,
Mackie's legendary drummer.
I was just gonna say that's how I knew of Mackie from the Fun Loving Criminals, and everyone's like, "Oh no, this is like Mackie, like
drummer from Cro-Mags."
Yeah, he's like the punk rock superstar. I'm like, this guy plays punk rock. They're like, I could believe it because he was an excellent drummer. I mean, now he does everything.
Yeah, he's great.
He's like Roy Mayorga. He's everywhere.
Oh yeah, he's awesome, right? So he's awesome. And then he was one of the guys that would set up Sideways, right?
Oh yeah.
When he was with Hazen Street, the crew actually made him set up Sideways. We were like, you got to, right? He's just so like, you know what I mean? He's so
he's an excellent drummer.
Flashy, right? And he's a really good drummer, right? So
he's
fun
great
to watch. You know what I mean? If you watch him play, he's really fun to watch play. So.
That's insane. So that was like your first bill, and then through Hatebreed that you ended up working with Slayer or for Slayer, or
no?
Because you did that tour. That was just something different.
I worked for Sick of It All in 1999.
Oh wait,
we did a tour.
Can we stop right there?
Yeah.
I love
That's the
Sick of It
only
All.
time I was going to bring up the only time I ever saw Slayer was at Roseland Ballroom with Sick of It All opening up and Meshuggah.
Yeah, I
And
was
that
on
must have been
tour.
the tour you were on.
Yeah. Yes.
That was the
So I was
sickest
with-
show
yeah.
ever.
Yeah, it was great. That was a fun tour.
I'll
It was
bet.
a really, really fun tour.
I only saw Sick of It All once, Rancid at Irving Plaza. It was
Okay.
Oh,
great.
that's
I
a hell of a
I remember
show.
that show, but I wasn't there. So, but yeah, so I worked for Sick of It All, and we were on that Slayer tour. That's when I first met the band, the crew, and everyone, right? And then fast forward to whatever year it was, I was with Biohazard. We did another tour with Slayer in Europe. So I kind of reconnected with the band. It was a different crew, but I linked up with those guys again. And then when I was with Hatebreed, we did another tour with Slayer, and it was one or two guys from the '99 crew, right? So it was, you know what I mean? And the band remembered me, and it was just kind of like, oh, cool. And then the one guitar tech on Slayer was one of my best friends. So it worked out, right? On that
It
tour.
worked out. It was all
Yeah,
family.
and then what I ended up helping them a lot on that tour. And then what happened was the guitar tech went on to do Guns N' Roses. So the position opened up, and that's when my name got brought into the hat, right? You know what I mean? So, and it was, it helped being the two backline guys, because back then there was 3 backline guys, 2 guitar techs and 1 drum tech. And the guitar tech was my best friend, and the drum tech was one of my best friends. So it just, you know what I mean? It worked out, right? So who's the other guitar tech? Well, let's get the other best friend. So
You all work good together, you know. You know how to work
that
together.
was the crew for 8 years. You know what I mean? The only reason why that crew changed was because Armin, rest in peace, passed away. Right?
I'm sorry.
That's the only reason that there was a change in that personnel, right? That lineup. You know what I mean? Or that crew, those positions.
Wow.
You know, we stayed. The 3 of us were there together for 8 years straight.
Nice.
Wow.
That's great.
I was with the band for 16, and 8 of them was with that crew, right?
Wow.
You know what I mean? And that same crew, the 3. It was actually who else was? I guess the sound guy was always there. And yeah, that's the 3 of us, man. We,
That kind of goes in. That goes around to almost what me and Annie talk about, not talk about, but Annie's been with Joan for 10 years now, straight, going on 11. You know?
Yeah. But that speaks for the artist.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I
what I'm
mean?
saying. When you've got somebody
people
like
be
you're with
if
them
you
for
got the
8
same
years,
crew,
16 years.
Yep. I was with them for 16 years. People was like, I mean, I should have been. I probably definitely should have been fired a couple of times. I probably almost did get fired a couple of times.
I was. I left.
Yeah. So, but dude, there was times where like I should have got fired and I didn't, and the band stuck up for me, right? You know what I mean? So, or how about like when it, rest in peace, Jeff, when they announced that Jeff wasn't, playing with the band anymore, he was just going to sit home and recover. I right away was like, okay, well, what does that mean for me? Like, I'm out of a job, because he was the guy that always made sure I was there, right? Who's your guitar tech? One, you know what I mean? Or Tom, right? Who you know what I mean? So I was like, all right, I guess I'm out of a gig. But next thing you know, I get a phone call from Kerry King, hey, like, I know, Jeff's not there, but we got Gary, and I made sure that you'll take care of Gary, right? So I was like, oh,
wow,
thank God.
Wow.
Like, you know what I mean?
That's
Even
great.
when they announced the breakup, right? When they were just doing the last shows, he called me a day later and said, hey, I know what's going on from the press. It's kind of crazy right now, but it's he just told me, you know what I mean? They were always good to me, man, those guys. So you know what I mean? They took care of me. That's why I stuck around for 16 fucking years, right?
We always talk about that there's a reason why Billy's there for 30 plus years. There's a reason why Annie, myself, have stuck around. I mean, it's rough, but it's a family.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you don't get along with management or politics get involved and shit like that. But it's basically, I guess like a family. You get
These
ups and downs, right? But
Yeah.
At the end of the day, those guys always took care of me. And even management, right? At the end of the day, so that they took care of their crew, that band, right?
That's
We
good.
always stayed in, we always had a nice bus. We always stayed in nice hotels. They didn't, They didn't shit on us, right?
It's world class shit, man.
You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
even with flights, right? We would always, at one point, we would always have business class, but we would have like the extra economy class. Like we were never, you know what I mean? We wouldn't be in the back of the plane, right? They would give us the next step. You know what I mean? So what more can you ask for, right?
Yeah, but it's true.
Yeah, that's great.
I mean, a lot of bands, dude. I've visited other bands on tour. That you go on the band bus, like, oh wow, this is a nice bus. You go on the crew bus, it's like, whoa, it's old, man. All right, cool. Like,
the old slave ship, right?
It's a bus, cool. Like, and then you come on a Slayer crew bus. It's always like, wow, holy shit, this is a nice bus, right?
Yeah, I did Warped Tour, the kind of thing in between in a college summer. I did my first Warped Tour, and I think I was on a bus with 19 people.
Yeah.
The slave ship. They called them the slave ships on the Warped Tour.
I can honestly say
You got one more?
I successfully avoided ever doing that tour my entire life.
I did one.
I loved it.
I
You
did
didn't
a
miss
couple
it, nothing.
shows. I was, dude, no way, no thank you.
Well, Annie's
Yeah,
the queen of it.
I did half of it in a van and half of it I got onto a bus like the last 2 weeks of the tour.
Yeah, I've done van tours, but dude, I wouldn't do a Warped Tour ever.
I did a Warped Tour.
It was my first tour, so that was like a great.
Yeah, see, all right, see, if that's the case, then that's different, right? Because that's a good way to get thrown. You know, hey, this is what touring life is like. You know, or life, right? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you go on sorry to say, you're on a real tour, and then you find out, oh, this is how things are done.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Like, cool. All right.
Sorry. I love it.
You're right, Beef.
It's so
from
true.
A fan's perspective, I'm sure it's great, right? But for a touring guy, dude, that's like, come on, dude.
Well,
I hate to I'm not trying to fucking, put people down, whatever. Just in my opinion, man, that shit was always like, oh, dude, that's like, nah, man, you're not supposed to do shit like that.
No, you came from a proper. Money. You're coming from a proper.
Saving money, man, where you shouldn't be saving money, dude.
we like Annie said. There was her first tour. I got booked with So I come from everyone knows SIR, and my first year at SIR, I walked into a rehearsal where these guys were chugging away the heaviest shit I ever heard, and I was like, whoa! And I walked in because I was this fresh 22-year-old guy looking to just do something, And it was this band, and their singer didn't show up. He was a rapper, and we started talking, and I was doing this Pantera tribute band at the time. I was singing in it. And I told them that, and they were like, really? And I ended up, joining the band and doing a record with them as like backup hype dudes. So we did this Warped Tour, and it was supposed to be in a Winnebago bus. The bus didn't work out. So they rented 2 SUVs, and we drove for 3 shows, and one of them got canceled. All the way to fucking Minnesota.
Oh yeah, dude.
In 2 SUVs. And I was like, fuck. And then I was like, I don't know if I could ever do this again in a van. And then next year, 2 years, it was next year. I was with Joan in the bus, and I was like, thank God I was comfortable.
Yeah.
Thank God. I did 60 shows. And that was great because Helmet was on that tour, dude. Oh my God. Casualties.
Hatebreed. We drove from fucking England into Sweden.
Oh, on
in a van and trailer, dude, on the same road that Cliff died on, right? We passed that same stretch. You know what I mean?
Whoa.
So it was in the middle of fucking winter. It was just a band, me and the tour manager and a driver, right? We had so shit was crazy, man. We were in that fucking van for hours, bro. hours.
I know, it's insane, but it really preps you.
3 weeks we did that. You know what I mean? So, and then
really preps you. Then you go to a real bus, like you said, a real tour.
It
is. I love that tour. It was not comfortable. Fun, but not comfortable.
No, but a bunch of dudes, fucking driving for hours in a van. Bro, you tend to have, talk a lot of shit, have fun, right? Laugh. You end up laughing a lot, So
yeah,
that was fun though.
Annie, you got the van. You do most of your touring in the van, right, Annie?
With my band?
You started. Were you? Yeah, you do all the touring in the van, right?
Yeah. Well, my band tours in a minivan right now.
The Astro van, the Dodge Astro van tours.
Yeah,
So,
I was selling merch on Warped Tour, so I was in the
Madball
van.
we did a Hatebreed I can't remember how long of a tour. It was a Hatebreed tour, and Madball did the fucking tour in a minivan. They were on the tour. They did the whole tour in a minivan.
Wow.
We carried their gear, right? So they didn't have a trailer, but yeah, that shit was crazy. And then when I was working for Sevendust, it was a band called Digital Summer, and they did the fucking tour in an SUV. Same shit. SUV. I was like, God, you motherfuckers, man, that shit was crazy. Like, but good for them. Man, you know what I mean? So,
and like you said, there's no disrespect to the bands that are doing it on the Warped Tour like that, but like if you can get on the road and do it any way you can.
Well, this is not to the bands. If you're in a band, yeah, fuck yeah, do Warped Tour. It's a good thing for you. Why the fuck wouldn't you, right? I'm just saying how that tour is run was kind of like, dude, like, come on, man, like. Dude, what are we in kindergarten? Like, what is it, grade school? Like, come on.
Punk rock summer camp. It's right.
Yeah, dude.
It's true.
Like, you can't treat grown men like this. Holy shit.
Well, you know what? I will say.
Like, there's grown men on this tour, man. What? Okay.
I will say something about that. I do remember going on the tour and already having a couple of nice gigs under my belt with Joan and being like, man, there's like, why do I have to get up at 7 a.m. and unload somebody else's gear?
Not even that, but like, why do you have to find out? Wait, hold on. What time are you playing today? I don't know. I'll find out at 7 a.m. Like, what?
Yeah. There's certain things I didn't like about it. You're right.
Before, man, like, huh? Shouldn't there be a schedule for the whole fucking thing? Like, why do you have to get up at 7 a.m. to find out what time is the band playing?
I think it's more for the community of the bands that are thrown on it. Like the headline, I guess Joan was we were always told that we were going to play between 3 and 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you guys are one of the headliners or the main acts, so you guys did later in the day or whatever. But like for anyone else, it was like
it's true,
bro. Like you get up at 7 to find out you play at fucking 9 a.m. That sucks. That kind of sucks. You know what I mean? Like, you can't tell me the night before I got to get up and
and if you could make it there,
in the heat.
Yeah, because most of those drives were always 8 to 12 hours overnight. So it's like you gotta hope that you get there in time too.
Look, again, I might be fucking talking shit out of my ass. I don't know, fucking whatever. But it just, from my perspective, if you threw a little more money into production, it could have been fucking run better. Like it just could have been upgraded. You know what I mean? And
that's true.
I don't know. Like I'm not the accountant. I don't know how the money was worked. You know what I mean? Whatever. I'm sure at the end of the day, it lowered the price of the ticket, right? Obviously, you know what I mean? It made the ticket affordable for kids, right? I don't know. I was never a paying patron, so I'm just assuming all this shit. Right. Yeah. So, but again, there's a certain at a certain level for the bands, at least the people have, we have to hear it every day, dude. Doing this for the next 6 weeks. You can't
it's rough.
This, I don't know. You just, can't rent showers. You know what I mean? Like a couple porta potties, you can't pay for that, huh? No.
Yeah, that was like an interesting, I guess, a little behind the scenes thing is that if you had a laminate, you had like a golden ticket to a shower somewhere. But it's like, but sometimes it wasn't at a venue with showers. You had to take a shuttle bus to a hotel where you're in a room with.
I mean, which is fine. Again, it's
crazy.
It's a shower, it's a pain in the ass, but at least you provided a shower.
Yeah.
But the fact that if you're on a tour and you don't have access to a shower or a clean place to take a shit, that's kind of fucked up, man. Like that's basic shit. You bro, come on, really?
I remember learning real quick.
I didn't even ask you for a fucking nice toilet. Just a fucking couple of there's how many people working backstage? Like, come on, dude.
Before 7 a.m.
How many bands, right?
They were all blown out.
How many crew guys? For each band, there's another extra 3 or 4 crew guys added to that fucking camp, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? So times that by X. All right, motherfucker. That's how many people back there.
Being the lesser females on the tour, the lines weren't that long for us.
Dude,
for once.
Yeah.
Man, shit.
Yeah. The Merriweather Pavilion, that had a nice shower. I remember that. It's in Maryland. I don't know why. It was the first stop on the tour.
Actually, we just did that on the Heart tour. It was a great venue.
It is a great venue, the Merriweather Pavilion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I've played there. It's
Yeah, that's a nice
we've
one.
done shows there or whatever. Right?
Yeah, it's in Bethesda, Maryland, or somewhere. But I love that.
Well,
You ever do?
I remember that venue. Yeah,
it's great. I remember.
Most sheds are across the states are decent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're proper.
They're proper sheds. You know what I mean? So there's some sheds that are smaller or configured differently, which make it difficult to set up and whatever. But at the end of the day, it's a fucking shed. You know what I mean? So there's a shed. There's a stage, a dock. Usually,
there's people.
Whatever. There's dressing rooms. There's showers, right? For sure.
It's so funny.
Okay, fuck it, man. Load in.
Yeah. So to go back like a year ago, when everything shut down, where were you? Did you have a tour booked? Like, what was your? Were you somewhere and had to go home? What was?
I retired in 2019, so it kind of fucking worked out.
Okay.
when 2020 hit, so there's no touring. What are you gonna do? I'm like, I don't fucking tour anymore. It doesn't matter to me. Like, sucks for everyone else. Like, but it doesn't affect me. I planned for this. I planned on not being on tour, right?
So you knew. You knew? No.
Listen, when Slayer said they were going to break up, you knew something bad was going to happen. In this
it's true. If Slayer don't want to play no more, the world is definitely ending.
Wow. Oh, man.
I blame this whole shit on Slayer. So
they had a direct correlation with this.
I mean, fuck, dude. You call it quits, and next thing you know, a fucking world pandemic hits? Yeah, bro. You had something fucking definitely to do with that. Fuck yeah. The energy, that's no way that's a coincidence, man. Fuck, that's crazy.
Well, either that or it meant the world wasn't ready for them. They were pissed. That
they had a record called God Hates Us All.
One of my favorite records.
You know what day that record came out, right?
September 11th.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
I know.
All right. I got to re-listen to all Slayer and just see what's going on in the world
God
now.
Hates Us All.
Dude, it was crazy because we would always be behind weird, you know what I mean? It was just weird, events. We happened to always be, some shit would happen we were just there. You know what I mean? Fuck, we could have been there. You know what I mean? It's just weird, right?
It's sort of like when there's an open festival and it ends up raining when the Blackhearts are playing. They call Joan Jett the Black Clouds.
Yeah. Oh, we've had a drought here for months, and it comes in downpours when we're there.
I remember when we've been on. It hailed 3 gigs in a row, and every place that we were, they were like, "It's never hailed in 10 years here."
Yeah. I mean,
because we were here.
Well, Slayer, we used to just say, hey man, when you work for the devil, shit happens, right? So deal with it.
Oh man, yeah. So you were in New York. You were working over at 30 Rock, right?
Yes. So I was at NBC for the last couple of years. I guess 2017 I started there.
Yeah, and that's how we kind of met. Warren and I knew that you had done touring because I know I'd seen you at shows when I was going, man. I just know it because I used to go to so many shows. And I was like, man, that guy looks familiar. And and then one of the NBC guys was like, Warren, oh man, he's fucking Slayer's guy. And I was like, oh shit. And that's how we kind of met. And I was doing NBC for a while too. And so you were there and so let's give a little background.
So it's funny because so Slayer did Jimmy Fallon show.
Right. Yes. That's why I got the only set list that I have.
2016, whatever year it was. And sure as shit, we had to, I was there, right? And the shit, we're working or whatever. And sure as shit, I fucking ran into somebody I knew that worked there. Holy shit, what do you do here? Oh, I work here. Really? You want to work here? Yeah, sure. I didn't, take it seriously. I was touring, right? So I was like, yeah, whatever, But, we exchanged numbers and next thing you know, I was splitting with my ex-wife, and I was like, I need a job besides touring, right? So I called this guy up, and next thing you know, I was working at NBC. It was great, so it worked out. So and that's part because it worked out because I was like, well, I'm fucking, I'm thinking about retiring anyways. And then a year or two into it, Slayer announced we're breaking up. I was like, oh well, fucking perfect. I've got something going on, right? And then the pandemic hit, so that went away, and now I'm doing real estate.
That's right. A whole new career.
I mean, me and you, but hopefully we'll be back in the building soon, right? You know what I mean? So.
I hope, man. So that comes to Annie's questions. It just stopped, right? At the studios at NBC, like last year when this happened, it was just dead, like literally.
I mean, listen,
railroad track.
It was dead because there was no work because nobody was coming into the building to.
Oh yeah, sure.
Right. Everybody was like, no, talent, no way. I mean, I don't know who played, right? Everything was locked down, it was shut down, right? So it was like, okay, well, we can't do this. You can't have people commuting, you can't have any of this, right? So everything got shut down.
That was it.
You know what I mean? So
standstill.
And that's what happened, And it was nobody's. I mean, that's what happened, right? It was nobody's fault. It's like,
You can't go to work if there's no work to go to.
Exactly. So there's just no work. It's like nothing you can do, So, and until I guess things open up, I guess you just gotta wait, right? So I couldn't. That's why I started doing real estate.
Let's talk about that. Like, you just started a whole new career. Just like I was like, "Fuck this! I'm going to do this." Or is this something you've been thinking about for a while? Or
no, I just kind of jumped into it. My brother had. It's kind of a backstory. My brother was doing it a couple of years ago, but never followed through because the touring got busy, right? And then he, jumped back into it at one point and was like, "Hey, why don't you check it out?" So I was like, "Okay, yeah, why not?" Fuck. I mean, it's better than doing nothing, right? So,
sure, you got your license and everything.
Got my license, did all that, and boom, here we go. Right. So I also do. I also have the clothing line Pitchfork.
Yes,
right? So,
which we will put a link to somewhere.
Yeah, I'll send you all that. But I mean, that's not that's not income. That's a labor of love. I don't make money off of that.
Yeah, but still, it's out there. People are wearing it. It's good. It's good for the community. It's good
great.
for
I
you.
love doing it. So, and then I also do sales for a guitar strap company called Richter Straps, right? So
that's right.
I'm working on some really cool shit over there. So people pay attention if you're into guitar straps, and it's cool. So. Go check out the website. It's pretty fucking cool. So
nice, very cool. Can you go into more Pitchfork and what that is a little more?
It's a clothing line that me and two other guys run, Narc and LD. Two guys I grew up with, graffiti guys. You know what I mean? Music guys or whatever. LD's he's a electronic music guy, right? Mixes samples, stuff like that. He does a lot of graffiti and Narc, same thing, graffiti, old school graffiti guys. And we kind of just started this on a whim, and we've done it since, and fucking over 10 years now, I think, right?
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's been around since 2003 we started the company, man. So we sell shirts, right now, so there's we started releasing 7-inches and vinyls. We just did a pre-order for a big New York hardcore compilation called A7 Back to the New York Hardcore Roots. That's out, so we're doing stuff like that, and what we do ties into the hardcore scene a lot, right? Obviously, because it's 3 dudes from the hardcore scene, whatever.
I think you got a Drunken Rampage on that comp, right?
Man, there's 17 bands.
Yeah, that's Johnny Cray's band.
Probably the Crays are on that. The Crays.
So it's Well, I work with Johnny at SIR for about 16 years. He's a very good friend of mine.
Nice.
I'll say the Staten Island. Do you know Enrage?
I mean,
Jeff Enrage. Well, yeah, because I
saw Enrage back in
Dop Street.
They're not really active nowadays, right? They do shows.
Yeah, but Jeff Enrage he's been going. So
yeah. But
yeah, he's a good friend of mine. So, but he's
nice.
The hardcore scene in Staten Island and the punk scene was always really active there. So it was. Yeah, that's kind of what
weird because Staten Island always kind of had their own thing because it was nobody would go out there.
I know, and then we couldn't go anywhere, so we just had our.
I mean, I remember fucking dude, years ago, we went fucking a Madball show. We did a Madball show there. And we ended up beating up a white power guy there, right? And we were laughing afterwards. It was like, only in Staten Island would a white power guy be at a fucking Madball show, like, you know?
Yeah, it was probably a Dock. It was probably a Dock Street.
Man. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know what, you know. Hey,
That's funny.
yeah, pretty fucking random, right?
But those were the first shows I went to because I couldn't get off Staten Island, so that's what we had.
Yeah.
You know, those were my first introduction to the music scene was going to like hardcore shows in Staten Island at Dock Street.
Rage was popular in the early 90s, right? You know what I mean? 92, 93, 94. They were real. They did shows that, I mean, that's, you know, I love the Rage, right? You know, so.
Yeah, because Jeff booked my first shows in my band, and
I remember having a couple. I think I had Shadows Fall demo tape or not demo tape. I had something from Shadows Fall before they were huge and all these bands. If I had it now, I could probably make money off of it, but I'd still keep it and listen to it.
Well, I was into metal before hardcore, you know. And what crossed me over was I saw Agnostic Front live.
Oh hell yeah!
that was a
Right,
band,
and
yeah.
then and then one time at L'Amour's, I'm pretty sure it was a guy from the band. I don't know if you guys remember a band called Disciplinary Action. They were from Long Island. They were a hardcore band right? They were popular. You know what I mean? So
I've heard of them, yeah.
They gave the demo tape, and that was my. I was like, whoa, what's this? You know,
sounds so
familiar.
familiar.
Demo tape, it didn't have pictures or anything. I was more of a metal guy, you know. And then I was it was Obituary, Agnostic Front, Cannibal Corpse, and Malevolent Creation. Right, I was at that show at the Ritz. And
Oh my God!
Front, right? They came on, and I was like, oh, what the fuck is this? Oh, shit. They're like, what is this for? What do these guys look like? Fucking maniacs! Like, what is this? Like, you know? And then I kind of was like, holy shit! And then Biohazard started making noise, and I discovered them, and it was like, oh wow! And then I discovered, holy shit! I live in the home of all this music. Biohazard, Agnostic Front, Madball was just starting up. Sick of it. I was like, yo, I didn't, and I just and it was right when CB's closed is when I started coming to shows. Right, so I hardcore shows, right? We used to go to like Wetlands, Monster Cafe, and then so that's how I got transitioned into hardcore, right? Because I discovered, like, holy shit, I live in the city for all this. Like, I could go to a concert I go to 3 concerts a weekend. You know what I mean?
Just like, you could club hop.
Yeah, it was, you know what I mean? So, and it was amazing because, like, you would go to a hardcore show and you would see, like, you go and say, oh shit, there's fucking Roger from Agnostic Front hanging out. There's Vinny from Agnostic Front hanging out. You know what I mean? I could never go to a show here and, oh, hey, shit, there's Kerry King hanging out. That's not gonna fucking happen in New York, right? You know what I mean? So it just was like, that's what attracted me to that. Like, holy, this is like real.
It's a scene, yeah.
Well, it's just, like, it wasn't, these guys weren't any different than me. Right? They were just regular, they just happened to play in a hardcore band. You know what I mean? That's right. Whereas, you know what I mean? I don't know. There was other bands more portraying an image, whereas hardcore band, the image was just a bunch of street dudes, right? So that's what attracted me to that, So I grew up in New York, hanging out on corners, right? So so it's just, that's what drew me to the hardcore scene.
My first thing was Rancid, listening to punk rock, and that's where I got into really music. So I was like, what is it? What you said, what is this? I gotta see what this is about. So
like, what the fuck is this about? Like, holy shit, right?
No one told me this existed. What is going on?
That's a great segue into how did you hook up with Rancid?
Rancid? I mean, it's fucking random. So I met Lars in, goddamn, like 1996 or 97 when I played in 25 Life. We went out to Oakland or California. We played a show. I ended up, we met him. I went to his house, hung out, whatever. So I've known him, loosely throughout the years. And then over the years, we became better friends or whatever. And then, I don't know, he just came he started asking me questions. Like, one year he called me, hey, so, what he said, and I was like, oh, what's this about? And then the next year, hey, we need somebody. Like, are you willing to do it? I was like, fuck yeah, man. So You know, but they don't tour a lot. You know, they only do tour
No.
right? So
I am waiting for the day that I can see Rancid live. They're a band that is very, very dear to my heart. And Annie knows. Annie's a super, Annie's so into them, but I mean, they're just strike something in me. That band is like, oh my God, they're the real deal. When I was growing up, that was the real deal. That was like, holy shit, fucking punk rock.
There's 2 guys in the band are from fucking Op Ivy, right? You know what I mean? They're all Bay Area guys that are literally in that scene. You know, they went to shows at Gilman. You know what I mean? Fucking Lars played in goddamn fucking, UK subs, right? You know what I mean? So
yes.
Rancid, you know what I mean? They all have a punk background. You know what I mean? So obviously those guys are they're fucking real deal, right? So yeah, they're great to work for. I love them, man. I wish they would tour more, right? When I did tour, I wish they would have toured more, so I could have worked for them more. But when it sucked because when they would book tours, it was like, hey, we booked a tour this summer, like a 6-week tour. Can you do it? It's like, this summer, like, I'm fucking busy, dude. Like,
dude,
when the fucking Slayer have summers off, man? You know what I mean?
Never.
Yeah,
2020. No.
It's hot and it's 2020.
I remember, I think 1 year we had a light summer because I ended up going to work for a trade for like 8 weeks in that summer, right? So I remember it was because Slayer wasn't. I remember, maybe it was in between record cycles. I can't remember why, right? But we only had a handful of shows that summer, and that was it. But every summer for the last 16 years, I've been in fucking, on tour, usually in Europe, right? Or the States or wherever.
Wherever.
But it's all summer. You know how that goes, man, guys, right? Summer, that's like the busy season. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's
May hits and you're out. Like May, like I'll see you in September, see ya.
Yeah.
Basically, you're doing one-offs and shit before then, especially Annie. I mean, it's probably like one-offs for her, and then boom, by late April, early May, you're gone.
Until like October, really.
Every year was like methodical, man. And the May was like bing, bing, bing. We would cool. Sometimes we'd leave earlier, but it was always at the end of May. I'm kind of happy I don't have to deal with that anymore, right? So.
Well, you've been doing it a long time.
Well,
I mean,
you know what? I don't miss it yet.
Exactly. So that's another point here. I always say, I'm done. I'm retired until you get that call.
Yeah, I mean, listen. I can honestly tell you, there's probably only one call that I would get that I would be like, okay, I would actually consider.
All right.
So
same here.
It's not Slayer because Slayer, they're not, they're broken up, right? So if they were to get back together, obviously, if I got the call, I'd probably take it. You know what I mean? I'd probably, be obligated to fucking be there, right? So
I feel the same way. I really do.
I'm not doing it, dude. I'm not.
It's got to be something that's worth it for you.
Years into touring,
dude. It's a hustle. It's a lot.
It is. You know what? I respect it.
Listen, I got a kid, and she fucking hates it. So if I didn't have the kid, maybe things would be different, right? But I have a kid, and she doesn't like it.
She's the boss, right?
It's just, dude. That's just how it is nowadays, right? So.
I think that's a smart thing. I think at a certain when certain variations in professional touring people's lives, people that do this for a living, change, then they roll with it. That's why they were good on tour.
It sucks because dude, I remember she was, 2 years old, a little bitch. She didn't even know what's going on, and we fucking sure shit. We rolled to the airport. I'd get out, look into the car to say bye to her, and she would just start crying. She knew. Even at that age, she knew I was, that's it. I'm out, right? And it sucked. I don't want to deal with that anymore. I'm done.
Bringing a whole nother side to it. I never really thought about that.
Yeah, dude. It's I don't. Man, it's just not conducive to raising a family. I don't think. If some people get away with it, I know touring dudes that have fucking 5 kids at home, raised, going to college, fucking, they did great jobs raising them, whatever. But hey, it just didn't work out for me, right?
Nah,
you know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm done with it, right? So
Yeah, it depends. Yeah, it depends on. Yeah, a lot of people have families and stuff like that, but it
I'm not
depends
saying
on
you can't do. Yeah, I'm not saying it can't be done, right?
Mhm.
People have fucking done it. I just didn't work out that way for me, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I get it. I have a very similar outlook. But for me, it was more like local shit. Like I have no wish to go see a show and with some friends in the city when live music returns. Maybe I'm playing a gig with my band. Maybe some of my friends' bands I would go to support the scene. I think Examine's playing this weekend, right?
they're playing tomorrow.
Yeah, at the Shillelagh, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we're playing in July with a friend of ours. But yeah, I mean, I would probably go see that, but I'm actually not going to be here tomorrow. But like stuff like that, I would go to. But I have no desire to buy tickets to be at a show or do anything right now, unless I was being paid or I was possibly on tour, or if it was a one-off or something.
I mean, if there was shows coming through, I would probably end up going just because I'd probably want to go see friends. You know what I mean? That was like
that's the factor.
Summer, the best thing about doing Europe every fucking summer when we would do the fucking festival circuit, the best thing was you would see everybody.
Yeah,
you know what
same
I mean?
people friends
that you would normally never see because you wouldn't tour with the band that he normally works with, right? Your homeboy or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
like we ended up over the years, I ended up becoming really friendly with the No Effects crew guys. Because
I know them.
Shows those guys all the time in Europe for some fucking reason. Slayer and No Effects always played together.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like literally, they would play and we would play. So
limo.
I would be in my area working. I ended up watching. You know what I mean? We would set up around each other. We ended over the years. Oh, hey, you guys again. So over the years, you end up starting. You talk to these guys. You know what I mean? Get friendly. And it was like, yeah, we would never do a show with Slayer No Effects in America.
Never in America. Oh my God, I never would have thought about that.
It fucking happened all the time. So it was fucking nuts. Like, Slayer, I was friendly with No Effects crew because we do shows with them in Europe.
That's crazy. When we did the Canadian Amnesia Rock Fest, that's how we met Tim Armstrong. We met him there, but that was like Joan was playing with, No Effects, Anti-Flag, and then like, well, who else was on Venom and like Dying Fetus? It was like such like the vast.
Oh, it was
right.
Hold on, who was it? It was Cradle of Filth, right?
Cradle of Filth, yeah.
Dude, we did that. I think that festival or whatever. It was System of a Down, Slayer, Snoop Dogg, Rancid. I can't. Who else? It was like, what the fuck? This is crazy. And I was working for both bands, right? So
of course,
I was on tour with Slayer, and Rancid was like, "Oh, hey, we're on this festival," and I was like, "I can't work for you guys unless you're on the same stage." Next thing, I was like, "Yeah, we're on the same stage." I was like, "Oh, okay."
All right, now I have to worry. Do you know Rhino? Do you know Rhino?
Rhino Mike Bukowski?
No, Jeff Newman. He worked with. Oh, maybe he didn't work with No Effects. Actually, he did every other band on that tour.
Yeah, Bad Religion and Adolescence. I think is his main band.
I know. Sounds familiar.
He was also doing. He did Less Than Jake. He was doing No Effects, but Limo was their main guy.
Limo.
I love Limo. No Effects. I love him. I haven't seen him in years.
Dude, I miss that the most. That's what I miss the most about touring is being able to connect with and hang and like spend a lot of good times with people you like, right? You know what I mean? So
yeah,
like Slayer crew was fun, like you know what I mean. We had fun, we hung out together on days off. It wasn't like
yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, that's the other thing with touring is you see most of your friends and family when you're on tour. So then you're home and you're like, oh wait, I don't get to see these people for the year. Because you're not going through those cities.
Yeah, but it sucks because then you have people at home you grew up with that you end up becoming not so close with because you're always gone or whatever. You know what I mean? Or,
right.
Your paths just go this way, right? So it's a bum out too, But
that really is. That happened to me with a lot of people over the years. But it's cool if your friendships and relationships are strong, they'll come back. You know the deal.
Yeah. I mean, dude, some of my closest friends definitely do not live in my state.
Yeah.
You know,
That's for sure.
This fucking country, right? So I got close homies out in Europe as well.
You have a lot of international. I mean, again, for those people that don't understand, we are talking with Warren Lee, and he has been all over the world.
I mean, yeah, multiple times. It's been.
You've got more miles. You got a lot of miles, brother.
Dude, I used to laugh. We used, I used to tell you guys, man, I got more miles going on a bus going backwards than you have going forward right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, listen, I was definitely a road dog for over 21 years, right? So, I would, there was like at one point I was working for, and in the breaks they had, Rancid had shows. So I was literally going from one tour to another, back to the other, you know what I mean? And then I went to Slayer. So I was gone for pretty much all fucking year, So It was crazy. That was the first year my kid was born. You know what I mean? So it was just, it was crazy, right? I mean, I don't regret anything, but it was like, man, I missed a lot. I was able to see a lot, but I missed a lot as well, right? So,
the ultimate paradox, huh, Annie?
I was lucky enough to see like my kids stand up for the first time, but I also missed a lot of other stuff too, right? So,
Well, yeah, that's you miss a lot of like on the road. You miss birthdays and things like that. That sometimes people also don't understand that too. So that's also tough with like friends, family. Well, what do you mean you can't come to a wedding? Like you can't call out on a show like, hey, I have someone rebook a flight and a ticket for me in a hotel. Like there's a lot of factors that go into missing a show or like getting a fill-in or something, not like a normal job.
Can't. Listen, it's on. You're on tour. You got 102 fever. Too bad.
Right.
Get up. This show's going on. Show's happening. It don't matter. You got a fever. You're thrown up. You know what I mean? Get a garbage can. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I've had a garbage can. Yeah, I've had a garbage can in front of house before.
No matter what the fuck happens, the show is gonna go on. It's gonna happen. People pay tickets to see a fucking show. They don't give a fuck about your fever or whatever, right? You just do. That's it. Get the show done. Dudes will cover your other load out and whatever, right? And then go back to your bunk and try to get better.
That's it.
That's it, right?
Oh yeah.
Day off, stay in your room and fucking sleep it off, man. You got 24 hours to fucking fight this motherfucker off, right? So that's what people don't understand about. You can't. There's definitely no calling out, right? I've done I did a Rancid show in England with fucking food poisoning. You know what I mean? I just sat in Guitar World with a trash can and puked half the time.
In between puke and tune.
Dude, I remember, bass player kept looking over. Matt Freeman, like, you all right? I'm like, dude, don't worry about me. Just keep playing. Finish the show.
Yeah,
right?
You're like, this will be over soon. Don't worry.
Finish the show, dude. You can have 10 whatever songs left. Finish the show. Don't worry about me. Just get through it. I'll be all right.
Yeah, that was me doing lights and just puking in a bucket on the side.
Yeah, I mean, it happens to the best of us, right?
It happens.
That used to happen to me when I would do the when I was on tour with the Pantera tribute band. We would do Slayer, Motorhead, and Pantera, and we'd just switch guys around. And I'd get up there, and I was pretty inexperienced as a singer, and I would have to keep a puke bucket on the side of the stage in between verses because I'd get so into it, and the crowd was whatever. It was a cover show, but it was still I was giving it my all. And I remember, oh man, it was just many times. It was either a pizza box or a trash can.
Dude, Joey Jordison from Slipknot.
Oh, sure.
Follow him up on stage. Not, I don't know in the later years, right? In the early years, though, you just puke from nerves,
Yeah,
nerves,
that's what happened to me. I would just go, and it would just come up.
Puke dude. It would just be following just a trail of puke. His poor tiger just back there trying to. I'm sorry, guys. Like, hey,
actually, we knew a guy that was in a band with him. AC was in a band with him, Annie.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think when AC Slade, when he left Slipknot the first time, he was in a band with AC, our buddy AC, who's in the Misfits now.
AC's a good dude.
Yeah, he's a great. Oh, that's right. AC, I'm sure.
Yeah, AC's a good dude. So
he's a great guy, man. We love AC, and hopefully one day we'll get him on here.
I give him. He's a good fucking dude. He actually, when he did the Misfit stuff, right? When he got that gig, he called me and asked me to be his tech, right?
Really?
It didn't work out, yeah. But
Sure.
oh man, that's really nice of you. Thank you very much. I couldn't do it, right? I was booked already, whatever. That's fucking really nice of you. You know, that was cool.
He's a great guy. He really is. And Catfight Coffee and what is it?
Yeah, and that's his company. So
That's
everyone
cool, man.
get some coffee.
Yeah, well, you know what you do. You drink your coffee when you have your Pitchfork shirt gets delivered to you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, if you go on the Pitchfork side, we actually have some Pitchfork coffee.
Oh, check that out.
If you go check out Oak and Crow Coffee, we have a Pitchfork blend. Our own blend of coffee. Yeah.
Awesome.
So, people go check that out.
We usually say, like, when do you think things are coming back? When would you get back to work? But obviously you don't plan on going back on the road and stuff. But where do you see the industry going in your eyes? What do you think?
I don't know. Before the end of the year, I hope, I see a bunch of stuff being booked, right? Like Shock Festival. There's a couple, like, Riot Fest, right? I saw got announced. You know what I mean? So
it just got announced, Riot Fest. Yeah.
So that means bands are probably going to be on tour. So, and listen, if people want to come out to shows and bands want to go fucking, play shows, fucking God, man, let it happen.
Go, sure.
Yeah.
It's without live music, man. The world's a very different place. People, it's one of those things I think a lot of people, took for granted,
Oh, yeah.
Like when it comes to live music, you don't think about, okay, great. There's no band to play at the club. Okay, well, there's people that rely on that club for work. You know what I mean? There's the bartenders, right? You know what I mean? There's the sound people, the production people, the labor, right? Or the concessions people, door guys, security guys. Man, like think about when there's an arena show. Levels, right? There's parking attendants to fucking talent. All those people are working that night. You know what I mean? You take away that show, man, that's how many fucking jobs are not happening, right? People don't think about that. They just think they go to the show, see the band, whatever. Man, there's a lot of work and
a lot of stuff involved.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of shit that goes behind all of that shit, man. So I hope it gets back to 100% by next year. I don't know, but I don't know.
Well, with them announcing the Motley Crue tour being pushed back, I mean, that would coincide probably with what some other people would think as well, with next year, hopefully.
Well, I think here's the thing. Again, this is fucking what the fuck do I know is my opinion.
Hey, that's what we want.
For stadium shows right now, people are probably not. That's a lot of people. You know what I mean? So I don't know if people are scared, to go or not, right? Whereas, let's say an amphitheater tour, it's outdoors. You know what I mean? So you can get away with shows. There's shows happening, fucking local shows happening, man. There was a fucking show, Thompson Square Park, a couple weeks ago with 3,000 fucking people.
Yes, there was.
Pretty sure it's fucking all right to have concerts right now. You got to lay down some certain things, or you know what I mean? Whatever, right? However things work out. I don't know. I'm not into politics at all, right? I don't know if people have to get fucking vaccine passports or whatever the fuck, check temperatures, whatever it is. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure at this point you can safely have a concert. You know what I mean? Without, limiting a lot of things, right? Right? You have regulations or whatever, to be safe. Having a concert at like 25% type of shit, that's stupid.
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Right, it's just not worth it.
It's proven, I think, that you can get away with fucking having a show without, having issues, right? So I think it should come back soon. That's just my opinion, right? I think it should be back now. This summer there should be fucking tours, But again, I see shit being announced, so I think that's a good thing, right? So
yeah, we all hope so.
Industry, people listen. Again, I think a lot of people took the industry for granted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fucking a lot of people out there rely on that shit, full-time jobs, and man, what the fuck do you do if you don't have that gig, right? Okay, well, you go bartend. Well, guess what? That's not a fucking option either now. Like, you do this. You go, work at the local club. Nope, fucking ain't doing that either, right? Oh, I'll go work at the fucking shop. Nope, that ain't happening either.
Nope. It's all done.
Yeah, it's fucked up, man. You know, so it sucks. The whole industry. Look, listen, the world got fucked up from this, but I think the music industry, fucking dude, it got decimated by this.
Yeah, that's the only word, decimated. You're right.
You know what I mean? It's like, holy fuck, man. People right now, when it does come back, how many people are really gonna come back? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like crew guys, man. I mean, in the year, like, how did people find other things to do that are more lucrative, and they're investing their time into that. They're not going to go back into touring, right? I'm sure
huge point.
Yeah, a percentage of people
huge point
right?
here.
So does that bring a new generation of guys coming in? I don't know. You know what I mean? So
we've heard this a lot, Annie. With everyone, you're right. The new generation of guys might come in that might not be as experienced as some of the guys that were working out there, and it might be a whole new ball game for especially established artists. It could change dynamics of a lot of shit.
Listen, there's something. Everybody is replaceable on tour. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But to replace a guy that's been there for 15, 16 years, you can't replace that guy.
No, it's chemistry that you can't get overnight.
It's just there's just knowledge that, like, I can walk into a Slayer locker right now. I can walk into the Slayer locker. You can point at any piece of gear, and I can tell you when the fuck we got that gear. You know what I mean? Why we got it? Why
what's used for, where it goes.
Yeah, it's like, oh, where's that come? Okay, we got that because we were doing this, and this guy needed that, and whatever. So I cannot be there. Great, you get someone else to do the job I did, but the knowledge I have, you can't ever replace that, right? Or think about this guy Mike Kenny, works for fucking Iron Maiden. Holy fuck, dude! I mean, he knows shit like or Zach from fucking Metallica. God damn, those motherfuckers. Hey Zach, where's that fucking Mesa head we used on Ride the Lightning? You know what I mean? Oh yeah, it's in the locker. You know what I mean? Fucking drawer number, fucking 5th row down or whatever. Like these guys, motherfucker, they know their shit, man. That's those guys. People have been there for years, know the history. They've been there. They watched all this shit go down. You know what I mean? So, I mean, fuck with Slayer. Goddamn, through 2 different drummers, 2 different guitar players. Like, fuck. It's crazy. You're with the band long enough, you see shit, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like. You're involved in the production end. You just know where gear comes from. You remember. Oh yeah, I remember. That tour. We needed this. We got.
Annie knows where all the Lysol is in the new locker. I know that.
Yeah.
There's so much Lysol, like a king's ransom in Lysol that could be sold on the underground market, and it's just sitting there.
Yeah, you could.
I know. I had some in my production case this whole time.
Yeah, I could literally walk into a Slayer locker, Annie or B. One of you guys could point to any piece of random gear, and I could probably tell you where it came from.
I'm pretty close like that with the Joan locker for the gear that's been sitting there for years because I'm the only one that sees it.
Well, you had to move it all once SIR closed.
Oh, I mean, I'd been in the locker a lot because that was my only area at 25th Street. Nobody else was really going there. And then when we moved it, I had to look at it all again. I know every goddamn piece.
There's shit in the Slayer locker, right? That not one single fucking person on the last Slayer crew was around when that gear was used, except for me. That's how shit is this. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I'm not fucking rich from it, right? If I wanted to get rich from touring, I wouldn't have stayed with Slayer for fucking 16 years. I would have took the pop gigs. I was, you know what I mean? I would have took these other gigs that I turned down to stay with Slayer, right? You know what I mean? Money gigs, people call them.
Yeah, of course. And it goes back to the prestige. And that's why when people always say, oh, Beef, you've been this and that. Well, sure, I've done thousands of gigs, hundreds of gigs at SIR with many different artists. But why don't you tour with anyone else? So I like the fucking Blackhearts. I love the prestige of being with them. I love that it's the queen of rock and roll. I didn't fucking care. If I wanted, I wanted to tour with anyone else at any point I could have. I like touring with her.
I was very lucky in the sense where over my career I was able to I didn't base my decisions on money, and I was able to base it on principle. If I didn't believe in what your band was doing and I didn't like your music, I didn't fucking work for you.
That's cool.
You know what I mean? So you can look at my resume and you can pretty much say I was pretty much almost except for like one or two bands. I was the reason I worked for the band because I was a fan of your band. You know what I mean? I believed in what you're doing. So when you asked me, I said yes. Right? You know, or I chased to the band to get a job with them or whatever it was. Right? You know.
That's all right. Sometimes it works out that way, but those are words of wisdoms, But like, very, very cool. I like that a lot. I like that.
I mean, listen, I had the opportunity to fucking go work for whatever bigger bands, and if you want to call them bigger acts or whatever the fuck it was, more prestigious pop acts or more radio friendly, whatever you want to call it. And no, I didn't. Right. So listen, if you want to say Slayer is probably the only heavy band, right, that stayed consistent.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
They stayed heavy. They never strayed and went weird. Maybe they had put out a record you didn't like or whatever, but they
were still Slayer though.
Their whole career, they stayed Slayer, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many bands can say they did that?
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
It's true, and I don't think there's anything higher, in my opinion, than working for a band like Slayer. They're definitely on the same caliber as working for Joan, in my mind.
Yeah,
it's the prestige.
Yeah, listen, they treated you right. That to me was the most important.
Well, of course, yeah.
They treated you fucking. It was like family, You stuck around, Why would you say no?
That's right.
Yeah.
Even at one point when there was, crew guys leaving, I was the one guy that always came back,
Says a lot.
It becomes your family, and you stay where you wanna.
Yeah, and it's like, fuck, you feel I mean, how weird would it feel to like not be at a show, right? There's a Joan Jett show going on right now, and you're sitting at home.
Oh,
yeah,
it's
happened
weird,
too many.
Right?
Yeah, it'd be like
it's happened too many times to me. I do know the feeling.
You know what I mean? Like, fuck, this is fucking weird, right?
Especially when you're home in New York. I'm like, fuck, I should be there.
It doesn't matter what you're doing. You're not at that gig, and right at that moment, there's a fucking gig happening, and it's your gig.
Yeah,
but you're not there. That it's weird, right?
You're right, Warren.
Yeah, out of in 10 years, I've maybe missed 3 to 4, maybe. But still, and it was for because I had to do something, because you had to do something else. And it was like, wait, but there's a show going on right now. And you're still talking to everyone through the gig anyway, even if you're not there. They're still calling you what's going on? What's this? Where's this?
Totally. I've missed over the 16 years, I've missed probably 2 tours for sure. I think about it. I definitely missed 2 tours that I can think off the top of my head. And I miss some shows here and there, right? So
it's when you want it, when you don't want to, when you're having fun and with it's a family situation, It sucks. You don't want to leave. Only if you have to, you leave.
Yeah. I mean, and and again, if I had quit towards the end, if I left and didn't, finish out the couple years, or if I quit earlier, they probably would have got it, I can't. I got a family now, right? But I stuck it out as much as I could because it was like, man, I don't,
Sure,
I don't want to fucking let dudes down either at the same time, right?
Oh, of course.
You're not there. You kind of fucking, you feel like you're letting the guys down, right? Like, fuck.
For sure.
Anything else, Annie?
Well, I guess one last question for since we were saying about young people coming in, do you have any advice for a younger person coming in? To
the music industry.
Yeah. Besides don't do it, but do you have for someone coming in that wants to be a guitar tech or something like that? Do you have any advice for someone?
I mean, do as you would do another job. Take it serious. Work hard. You know what I mean? Take your shit seriously. And just because it's rock and roll doesn't mean you don't show up on time, right? You know what I mean? Sober, on time, sober, willing and able to work. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If you do those things, hey, Beef, as a tech, quote unquote,
Mm.
man, it's 70% personality and 30% fucking tech skills. You know what I mean?
Yeah, everybody's getting a little secret
tech.
knowledge here. A little secret knowledge, yeah.
If you're not really that good of a tech, but fucking people love you and you're a great dude, man, you'll fucking keep gigs. You'll get gigs and you'll keep gigs. You know what I mean? As long as you know, hey, you try to keep up. You know what I mean? You can even out that balance, right? You even it out, or you start out
pretty much.
30, you eventually become, you know, hey, you'll teach yourself more technical shit. You know what I mean? Dude, when I started fucking work for what the fuck did I know?
I know, right?
Anything? What are you, nuts? First time the guitar went out, what is, you gotta change the pot out. How the fuck do I do that? Open it up, there's a bunch of cables. What do I do? You gotta solder that thing. Well, what the fuck is, how do you do that? Like, you know, holy shit. Figure it the fuck out, right? Like, you know, show starts in 6 hours, bro. Figure it out.
Better be done.
Yep.
There was always a guy that was on the tour you were on that was more experienced, right? Or was, you know, really good at electronics or whatever that would teach you. You know what I mean? Because you just go up there, man. Can you give me a hand? Fuck, that's how I learned half the time, right? Dudes would show me once. Okay, cool. You start doing it, right?
Start
then
picking
2
it
weeks
up.
later, that same piece, you know, something else. That same piece goes out on another guitar. Oh, okay, cool. You do it, you know, you get better at it, right? You know?
Mm-hmm.
But there was always someone out there that could, you know, fucking help you out, right? You know what I mean? That was willing to show you stuff. You know what I mean? So
yeah, awesome.
That's good
That's
stuff.
great.
Yeah. So just, you know, hey, take it serious. You know, and if you wanted, you know, if you want it to be a career, take it fucking serious and work hard, just like you would do anything else. You know what I mean?
So true.
Just because it's rock and roll doesn't mean you're not there to fucking party or pick up chicks. If you want to join the band, join a band and do that. And you could fucking do that for 23 hours a day when you're off stage. You know what I mean? You do all the stupid shit you wanted that you're, you know, these fucking guys that come out on tour and try, I'm a roadie, I'm a tech. You ain't shit. You're just some fucking friend of a band that's picking up girls that happens to be there. That's a big difference between a guy that's taking this shit serious as a career, right? Yep. You know, you want to make sure you don't lump yourself in that idiot crowd. I like, you know, friends of band crowd where like, dude, I mean, eventually maybe those guys become serious and whatever later, but there's a we both know there's fucking tons of people like that in the industry, right? They don't
yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
You hit it on the nose. I've been saying it for years.
Party or for whatever they think, you know, it's like it's a good time. Like, listen, yes, it is, but this is also a serious fucking business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's people out there that are doing this for a living, brother. Because you grew up with the guitarist who's famous this year in this band. This guy, you know, guy like Warren, a guy like Beef, so and you know, a woman like Annie are doing this 24/7 for 7-8 months of the year.
Yeah, fucking feed kids or doing what, you know what I mean? Trying to fucking pay the bills. This shit's serious, dude. Like the guy that, you know, is serious about his shit and excels in the business, or you can be the fucking jerk that fucking is there just to party and give the rest of the industry a bad name, right?
Pretty much. Slimeball roadies.
I mean, you know, I didn't even call them roadies. You're not a roadie.
I know. It's such a derogatory term.
Yeah, like,
it is.
The roadie works, motherfucker. Like, you know, roadie's there to work.
Yeah.
Well, you heard it here. Anything else, Annie? You want to wrap it up?
I think that's it. But thank you so much for tuning in with us. I hope we get to see you soon somewhere.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Man.
Please come on again. Actually, we'd love to have you on again at some point.
Anytime, man. Just, you know, hit me up and fucking like I'll make time to do this, man. It's great. This is great. So yeah, dude, hit me up, bro. Me and Beef live like literally a fucking 5 or 10 minute walk.
We live right across the street.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Not even. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you got out of how long have you been out of Staten Island?
Out of Staten Island?
I get it. Well, look, Staten Island always had great music, so
I loved the scene in Staten Island. I wouldn't be like I wouldn't have known what punk rock or hardcore was if it wasn't for Staten Island.
That's true.
So
shout out to fucking These Nuts, right? Who half of those guys are from fucking Staten Island, dude. Right?
Mm-hmm. Matt Rogers.
Fuck yeah, dude. Those guys
so
are Staten Island guys.
Matt Rogers' first band ever was called Cheap Shot, and that was the first band I ever saw at Dock Street. So I've known Matt Rogers for a long time.
Yeah, shout out to Matt Rogers. Jeff and Rage, right? So
Jeff and Rage. I still So he's running a bar called Mother Pugs in Staten Island.
Yes.
He's still
Oh,
playing
he
that
runs
stuff.
that place.
Yep.
Oh, that makes sense now.
Yeah. I think the last time I played Mother Pugs, Matt was working the door. He's like, "Oh, I'm in D's nuts now," and I was like, "Cool, man." I was like,
Great fucking band.
I still have your first band CD, so
I did a tour with them. They were fucking great. I hung out with those guys every day, man. So
It's been a fun show. It's awesome. Everyone knows everyone. It's really cool.
I know we got. I was going to say for Staten Island hardcore, we have and Rage and Murphy's Law. That's what we got on Staten Island when I was younger.
They would come and
the
play.
only band that would go out there and play. That's why.
Yeah, they would only play. It's the only band that would go.
I'm telling you, dude, you just didn't do shows out there because it was fucking weird. Like, you're better off going to Jersey to play shows, right? You know what I mean? Because the Jersey shows were off the fucking hook. I mean, I don't know about Staten. I'm not trying to diss Staten Island.
Well, no, but we just didn't have the
Growing up
venue.
there, we
didn't have
it
the
was
venue.
weird, man. Again, my experience with Madball, fucking going out there to do a show, and a fucking white power guy shows up. Like, what?
So Staten Island.
Good thing he got beat up.
You know, Jersey, anywhere else. Staten Island.
Staten Island?
What are you
No
fucking
way.
crazy? Like at a Madball show, oh, dude. Needless to say, you got
Who the fuck is screaming out there? Sorry, some guy is screaming out on the boulevard like every night.
I can't hear that. Yeah, 10 minutes.
And you could probably see it from your side, probably the back, where you're looking at it when you come out on your side.
House from here.
Oh yeah, I think we could meet at Dallas Barbecue and be both in the middle at Dallas Barbecue on the corner.
Right,
that's the middle.
The middle where we are.
And 2 hours in the car
Yeah,
from
we
me.
didn't even realize that until like one day. You know,
We saw each other on the
work,
train.
right?
Yeah.
Who
I was like,
fucking doing? What do you mean? What are you doing? I live right here.
I was like, I live right here. Well, we're gonna have to hook up and talk some more.
Yeah, dude.
But it's been good. It's been a good show. So I loved it. It was awesome.
Yeah, dude. You guys, it's great. Fucking hell. Come on anytime you guys want.
Thanks, buddy.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, Annie. Thank you again, Warren.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning into the Crewicide podcast. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons and check out all the links below of all the awesome sites. Hit the like, hit the thumbs, all that fun stuff, and all the sites you mentioned will all be in the description below.
Yeah, I'll send you guys all that stuff. So.
Awesome. So make sure to check that out, and thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thanks, Warren, man. That was awesome, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Crewicide! 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 Crewicide!